If you're struggling with your personal brand and how to show up on social media, I want you to ask yourself one simple question. What do you hate? What do you hate? Because the opposite of that will point you so much more closely to what you stand for and what you stand against in this world. And that's exciting personal social media content. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Marketing Blender Show. I'm Dacia.
And I'm Daisy.
I am so excited about today's topic because we are talking about personal branding and what we like to refer to as the social CEO. And it's my goal to give you a big fat kick in the butt today about the role you should be playing online. Oh my gosh. I just want to grab people and be like, get online, own your voice, get out there, have some bigger impact. Like, I get so excited and angry over this topic.
Oh, so many CEOs, so little time.
Yes.
I mean, there's no CEO in the world who's like, you know what? I have a lot of extra time in my day. I think I'm going to go mess around on social media. Most of them are actually probably spending less time on social than the average person.
Agreed.
By far. Some of them are like, I never get on social. That's just a distraction. Well, it's not just a distraction. It's actually an opportunity. It's all about how you leverage it. And that's why CEOs need to be on social media.
Could not agree more. And, you know, we hear a lot of frustration and opinions about social media. You know, you get a lot of eye rolling and, oh, it's a waste of time, or it's a distraction, or oh, there's only negativity. Oh, there's only this. Well, don't be angry about it. Get out there and involve yourself and influence what's in there and have a message that's worth hearing. So if you don't like what's being put out on social media, then be a part of the solution. And for me, the reason we want to see CEOs, executives, and really brand advocates across all levels of your company on social media is because social media is social. It's about humanizing what you bring to the market, looking people in the eye and saying, this is what we stand for, and really being of service to people. You are stewarding all of the knowledge, all of the experience, all of the wisdom that you have worked so hard for. Why not wrap that up and allow it to really work on your behalf and on the behalf of the market? And that means getting online, especially on social media and inside of your personal brand. So where do you start? You know, like when we're encouraging people to really get out there, you know, where do we want to start this conversation? Because I'm very excited about getting some really practical tips out there. So where should we begin?
I like to start with having you imagine, what would it be like if everyone in your ecosystem was excited to share your brand online? That can happen, but they take their cue from you. If you're the CEO of an organization and you're not excited about your brand and you're not in love with your brand enough to share about it on social, then why should anyone else? So the benefits of being your own brand advocate as a social CEO is that, number one, you're priming your market to buy, because they should not have their first encounter with your brand name from an in-person sales conversation. They should know about it because you've been shouting it from the rooftops. And number two, you need to get the attention that you actually deserve. Your brand should be turning heads when it walks into the room. And guess what? You are the best person to help your target market understand what's important about your brand, why you do the things you do, what your mission is in the world, and what your values are.
I love it. I mean, it comes back to something so logical, is that I am more likely to believe something you tell me than something a commercial tells me. It's that simple. So when you're getting your employees to really be vocal advocates for what your company stand for, of course it works. Like, you know, you were putting together those slides for a client recently about getting their employee advocacy rolling. And one of the stats that jumped out to me so much was that employee shared content is shared 24, I think it was 24 times more frequently
It's
than
it's way up there. It's pretty incredible.
yeah, and we see this, with the clients that do have really good brand advocacy is those shared pieces of content. Holy cow. The impressions, the data, the traffic back to the website is exponentially larger than just the standard static organizational posts that we see out there. So it's very exciting. And there's a lot more around personal branding, in regards to what it can unleash for your organization.
I wanted to share just a few stats, especially for CEOs and their sales teams.
Yeah.
A lot of the companies we work with, the CEO is like they're the main person bringing in business, or they used to be, and now they've got a sales team working with.
Yeah.
So your opinion matters. Leads developed through employee social marketing convert 7 times more frequently than other leads. Whew.
That's amazing.
That's lead conversion. That's not eyeballs and clicks. That's real money in your pocket.
Exactly.
64% of businesses that have a structured employee advocacy program also report a lift in revenue that can be attributed to employee advocacy efforts and social selling. So it makes actually your pipeline faster. 91% of B2B buyers are active on social media. We know this. They're somewhere. Not all of them are on LinkedIn, but they are somewhere. They might be on YouTube. They might be on Facebook. Sometimes they're on Instagram. Once in a while, we find them on Pinterest.
Absolutely.
Weirdly. But we're looking at 16% better win rates, 2 times the pipeline, and 48% larger deals as some of the metrics that are tied to having a strong brand advocacy program. And once again, if you want your employees, your team members, your sales folks to do this, they're looking to you to find out if it's really important.
Yeah, 100%. And what I love is this type of advocacy is not one and done, especially if the people, CEO, executives, and specific brand advocates are part of the content creation. So if they're doing video or anything like that, you can then pull it into other aspects of the sales cycle. And it's so exciting. It's not, oh, we posted that thing and it will be gone forever and we wasted all that time. I mean, it's really sharing and resharing and how do we deploy it back into our conversations and creating such a rich ecosystem that proves that you are consistently delivering value at every aspect, not just in your product market fit, but also in how you communicate. I mean, it speeds up sales cycles. It's amazing. I love it.
I'd like to get a little bit tactical now because I get asked this question a lot. Should I be posting from the company page or should I be posting from my profile?
Yeah.
So the answer is that those two platforms have different purposes. Now, we just talked about how people trust when human beings, employees, share stuff more than they do if it's like an advertisement. Your company page is really designed more to be advocating for your brand.
Yep.
Your social profile, your own personal page, is about getting people to connect with you and trust you and like you, and by association, your brand.
Yeah.
So when I'm working with teams around social selling, I'm always talking about, you know what? It's the company page that has the responsibility for talking about the product and talking about the services and talking about all of the cool stuff that they're doing.
Yeah.
And you should pull that and reshare it on your profile. But the stuff that you're generating should be about your perspective and your viewpoint, highlighting the people in your network, sharing their content, engaging with them. It's all about relationship when it comes to your own profile. So making sure there's that distinction between who does what and why.
Yep.
Now everybody should be doing video across all
Agreed.
things, but it's different purposes. So let your company page be the advocate for products and services. That's fine.
Yep.
Make sure they're celebrating people in there too, and make yours be about who you are as a leader and what your brand is about.
Exactly. Now, I do want to go a little bit deeper tactically onto the company page because I want company pages, especially on LinkedIn, to give your employees something they want to talk about. So talking about philosophy, sharing favorite quotes, you taking pictures of wins or of your team or of real experiences happening, that is easier to share as an employee or as a sales team than if every single post is simply products and features. So we really want to be thinking about an authentic, rich, and engaging mix of content so that it does make advocacy so much simpler. So I don't want it to be just flat, and I don't want to give people the, out, like just, get out of jail free pass, that they really do need to be doing follow worthy content on their company
They do.
page.
And remembering that one of the ways that your employees engage with each other should ideally be through your social channels. And it's definitely where your talent attraction comes from.
Yeah.
So people across everywhere, but just making sure that you have a unique point of view when you're posting your own stuff from your own profile.
At the Marketing Blender, we have fractional CMOs and outsourced marketing teams to drive your success. The two most common problems that we are approached about is how do we break revenue plateaus and accelerate success, or how do we attribute marketing to revenue impact? And the answer is that we build a system, because your marketing should be driving revenue, it should be driving your reputation, and it should be driving resilience. If you want to learn more, check out themarketingblender.com. Now, anytime I'm thinking about the company page and asking employees or sales teams to engage, obviously we want reshares, or we want shares in content. So we'll talk about that in just a second. But I do want to see comments, not just likes. I mean, I want to see people giving their point of view, even inside of the company page, inside of the posts, in order to bring it to life. If you were at an event, or if you're really excited about a product launch, or, if somebody won something and, they're being recognized on social media, I want to see the team also staying inside of the company page sometimes, inside of those comments, because, wow, algorithms love that. But then it shows that it's true if people are willing to comment, not just like.
A little bit beyond baseline effort. Let's get a little bit more engaged with that.
Exactly.
One of the other things that CEOs worry about is how much time is this going to take for me? Honestly, if you can block out an hour a week for your social media, you're doing great.
Yeah.
You're doing great. And that's something that can be spaced out like 15-minute block 4 days a week.
Completely
You're
agree.
going on there. You're not going down the rabbit hole of looking at a feed. You're just saying, okay, who can I celebrate in my network? Who can I connect with that I haven't connected with before? And what can I express that's true for me today?
I agree. And I think, you're really starting to outline some of these repeatable points around personal branding and being a social CEO or a social leader, because you don't have to reinvent the wheel. I think I see a lot of overwhelm, where when people pick up the phone or like, okay, I'm going to spend 10 minutes today on LinkedIn or on Insta, all of a sudden they're like, what do I say? No, calm down. Like, I want to see a little bit of pre-planning, not loads of time, but so that when it is time to post, it's so much easier. So sharing experiences, of course, would be one of them. People forget that part of their experience and their expertise includes behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah.
So I love behind the scenes. This is very easy video footage to create. We always have a point of view around where we're at in time and space right now. So I think that's one. Sharing philosophy, sharing things that you support. And you mentioned a great one, which is share other people's, celebrate other people, share the spotlight. But I think there's just so many things that we can do. But I want to lead also into simplifying, right? So there's a checklist of content you can do, but then what should you really be talking about? So do you have any tips around simplifying the personal brand and making it easier to focus on, what you stand for in social?
I actually do. So we talk about Sally Hogshead's work a lot. This is the first thing that I would encourage any CEO to do before they start developing their social strategy, is figure out who they are. What is their personal set of fascination triggers? What makes people pay attention to them?
Yeah.
Because not every CEO is hey, I'm walking with my smoothie on the beach, and not all of them are, I'm leaning against a fancy car. There's tons of influencers that have different things that attract people to them. But understanding who you are as a leader and understanding what resonates with people so you can do that on purpose would be the starting place.
Completely agree. Her personal brand assessment is absolutely outstanding. And what I like about personal branding is you want to simplify the things that people naturally perceive about you, and then you want to exaggerate them. So one of my favorite tips for personal branding is ask. Don't worry about figuring this out, but take 9 people or more in your inner circle. I want to see 3 somewhere in the business world, present or past, 3 somewhere in your best friends and family, and 3 somewhere else in the community aspect. It could be neighbors or church or volunteer. Just what's your real world? And simply text them a quick question. What are 3 words that you would use to describe me if I'm not in the room? There will be so many consistencies across people that know you from different places, and people just need to believe them, right? Like, calm down. I will never forget when I did this. You've heard me talk about this so many times, but when I did this the very first time, it was years ago, and I was really trying to get on top of my personal brand for the first time. And I sent this message out, and almost every single person said high energy. Mm-hmm. I did not know. I was actually surprised by that. Yeah, I did not know. But it's because everywhere I go, there I am. So I just think or thought at the time, well, the world is as spastic and weird as I am. Apparently not true. But it helped me to lean into that. And so I talk fast, I'm loud, I'm goofy, I have crazy hair. And it kind of gave me permission to just be me and just stop fighting that. I used to straighten my hair and wear a lot more black and kind of apologize for talking with my hands. And it really was a game changer for believing how I was perceived. And instead of being embarrassed by that, just going, all right, well, how do I lean into that? How do I have fun with that? And how does that serve other people? Because these are people that love me. So they're not saying something that's negative. They're saying something they appreciate. Mm-hmm. And I find it wildly helpful to just simplify who you are online and just lean in to some of those. Another one was practical. Blech. I was like, practical,
that's so boring.
Totally. But then when I started thinking, well, why does that serve people? It made content so much more straightforward because I was able to go, oh, what's the next step? What's the one thing? How do we simplify this for other people? And so then you exaggerate that, and wow, it cuts out a lot of the noise around what should I be talking about online. And so it's one of my favorite exercises.
Yeah, as a great example, I was working with a CEO around his Fascination triggers a few weeks ago. And this is someone who really values trust. That's like a core value.
Yeah.
That was like his lowest measure on his Fascination triggers. So we had to have a conversation around what his real characteristics were. It's not, it's like, this doesn't mean you're not trustworthy. It just means it's not the thing that people notice first.
Yeah.
His triggers were alert and prestige. It's like what makes people trust you is when you are acting with care.
Yeah.
And excellence.
Yeah.
So that trust is generated not by leading with trust first, but by being who you are authentically. So it's actually helping him embrace the things that people value about him.
Yeah.
And from there, recognizing, oh, the rest of it comes naturally.
Yeah, I agree. Going back to that assessment, when one of mine came up as innovation, I would never have gone, oh, I'm innovative. Like, that's not how I would describe myself, but how I'm perceived is unorthodox. I'm definitely a rule breaker, but this is how I'm perceived. Not only what do I think about myself, but what's the first thing that people notice? And so leaning into that and exaggerating that a little bit so that people can recognize what to expect from me. Mm-hmm. So satisfying.
And so they remember,
yes,
she's the one that bought that. So it's that memorability, that stickiness, just like your company brand needs that. You as a social CEO need that as well.
Exactly. Now I have one other favorite exercise I love. If you're struggling with your personal brand and how to show up on social media, I want you to ask yourself one simple question. What do you hate? What do you hate? Because the opposite of that will point you so much more closely to what you stand for and what you stand against in this world. And that's exciting personal social media content because it's so hard to go, what are all of the amazing nuances about me? But when you're like, what do I hate? It's crazy. And I mean, I remember having a funny conversation not too long ago with somebody where they're like, traffic. Okay, why? Mm-hmm. The 5 whys. It actually came out to be a remarkably interesting answer that then he was able to leverage in being a social CEO and in his tone when he was sharing content. It was so insightful. So but I mean, when I say hate, I didn't say dislike. I didn't say irritate. I mean, that thing that when you think about it, yeah, you're gritting your teeth and like it's getting physical for you, that go the other direction, because you're calling and why you're on this planet is like it's like a reverse line straight back to it. And I find it's a faster question to really start to embrace, like, what voice are you supposed to have on social media that really does serve people in a really heart forward way. So I love that one, weirdly.
So on a practical note, to wrap this up, one of the challenges that people have, and I was talking with the CEO about this last week, is I'm uninspired. I'm like, I have to do my social media post for today. What do I talk about? Because they're exhausted with all the other decisions they've had to make that day. So my tip for you, if you want to make social media content creation easier, is put all of your idea time into one brain dump per week. So instead of having to come up with topics each day as you go, when you may not be in the brain space for it, you pick your best time. When is your idea factory really churning? When are you most energized? When are you most excited? Block out an hour of that time to ideate all of your content for the week or for the month, so that you have that wellspring of ideas already documented. You never have to wonder, what am I going to say today? It's already prepared for you. All you have to do is grab that idea, make a piece of content, and post it.
100%. I have a note in my phone where if I had windshield time inspiration when I get out of the car, or, I'll do a verbal note and it goes straight there. And it's just this brain dump of ongoing. So that if inspiration hits at a point that I'm not doing social media, agreed, I don't have to reinvent the wheel. I think that's such a great tip. Own your voice. You were given a voice on this planet for a very important reason. So being a social CEO, being a brand advocate, being active on social media is good for other people. So release yourself from, well, I don't know if I want to participate in this, and allow yourself to think, what if what I have to say actually matters and can change someone's day, can change someone's mind, can change someone's life, because it can. This is about being brave, and it's about actually stewarding the most important thing that you have. I believe in spiritual fingerprints, and I 100% to my core believe there is nobody on the planet in the history of the world, now or in the future, that will ever be capable of having the same thoughts, same questions, same inspiration, and same impact that you can. But you have to actually give your voice expression. And in this day and age, oftentimes that is in social media and in public domain spaces. So thank you so much for what you're going to be able to bring to the rest of us. I can't wait to follow you. So looking forward to your tips and hearing everything that you can create out in the world. You guys, hit that subscribe button. We love you. Hopefully you decide to love and like us in return. And we'll see you next time on the Marketing Blender Show. Onward and upward.